Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and I want to bring to your attention this article about Syria's next big import, illegal pills. Now, you may not be aware of it, but Syria is a huge exporter of these pills named Captagon. Okay, and it is a psychostimulant. It's basically kind of a hyper version of amphetamines. It's been used evidently in Syria, and the ISIS fighters especially have kind of latched onto it because, it makes them more alert and hyper, and, they don't have to sleep very much. Yeah, it's pretty much amphetamines and speed, If you look at this, it says hidden inside pallets of lumber, the $660 million haul amounts to the biggest confiscation of the pill ever recorded. And where was the lumber loaded? Latakia, Syria. And for those Bible scholars, you may recognize this Latakia here. That's actually the modern name for Laodicea. Thought I'd share that with you too. Yeah, this is big. I mean, this is something that's been going on for a while. You can see this was in 2017, was bigger, worth more than all of Syria's 2017 exports put together. So it's not like just a little part of the Syrian money supply. It's like huge, okay? And if you go down here in this article, you can see that basically here's where it's being put out, and these are the places it's going to. So what relevance does that have? Well, True Pundit has an article, and he entitles it, Deep State Vows Payback After Trump Disrupts Millions in Illegal Drug Trafficking, Cash, and Kickbacks from Syria. So, what we are considering this whole Kurds thing with Turkey and all of this, is there really more to it? I think there probably is. And I know this says 2 hours ago, but that's not accurate because I saved this like a couple days ago. So I don't know why it won't change and it still says 2 hours ago. But he says high-placed federal law enforcement sources dropped a bombshell claiming the renewed push to impeach the president is rooted in part in President Trump's move to pull the United States out of the conflict in Syria and stop untold millions in dirty cash from flowing into the deep state's pockets. This isn't about the Kurds, it's about the cash, one FBI source said. And that cash is no chump change. It's millions and millions of dollars flowing into the coffers of crooked politicians and deep state pockets worldwide. Federal sources paint a dark picture here, alleging crooked politicians and their benefactors are fuming. For years, it is alleged deep state players have been raking in millions in illicit profits through the manufacturing and distribution of narcotics in Syria. But that profitable network could stop producing its riches for U.S. players if the ceasefire Trump negotiated continues and if Trump's plan to remove U.S. personnel from Syria commences. Back here in the U.S., Trump faces a new and angrier wave of angst from D.C. players and politicians who have launched an even more rabid push to remove him from the White House. There's panic, one source said. There are a lot of connected people making a lot of money through their contacts in Syria, and that is going to dry up fast. The byproducts of such anxiety, crooked U.S. politicians pushing fabricated allegations against Trump to impeach, ISIS prisoners being released by frustrated deep state players as payback, and even an emergency Middle East road trip by Speaker Nancy Pelosi and senior members of Congress to Jordan, which also happens to be a major trafficking route for Syrian drug distribution to Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Iraq, some of the largest markets in the world for Syria's meth pills. Coincidence? Trump has sabotaged a golden goose for the deep state, knowingly or not. Okay? Knowingly. That or not valid. Trump knows what he's doing. He knows what's going on. He understands that this is where the deep state is getting a lot of its funds right now. And the entire 3 years that we've gone through so far have really been a series of attacks against the deep state and drying up all their sources of income. And we've seen it time after time. You know, he's gotten rid of the slush funds that they had and were taking money from the American people and basically laundering it back to themselves or to their associates. And like the Double P organization, where they got American taxpayer monies, and then they would turn around and donate to the Democrat campaigns. So it was, again, a money laundering scheme. So this is what's happening right now. And I think he's probably accurate on this, that there's more happening than just, oh, we're going to bring our boys home. There's always another level to it when Trump is making these decisions. And this right here, once I started looking into it, really does make sense, because this is a pretty incredible thing that's going on, and it's been happening for a while, all of these drugs. I mean, this isn't new. This is something that's been around for a long time, and you'll notice here it says the drug came into the mainstream in 1961 and was used for about 25 years as a milder alternative to amphetamines. Yeah, milder, but it was used to treat kids with ADHD and less commonly for narcolepsy and depression. But it ends up being highly addictive and became illegal in most countries in 1986. Well, you know what happens when something's made illegal. It just goes underground. And that's essentially what has happened with this stuff. So it is the ISIS drug dubbed Chemical Courage, intended to treat sleeping disorders abused by terrorists. And so I did a search on YouTube, and there are all kinds of videos. I'll put the link to this particular search down below, and you can watch some of these. A few of them are from France 24. France has a French version, that France 24, and that is the one it's the main channel, but then they have an English alternative. It's very left-wing, yes, but this is, something that's affecting all of us. And especially in France, they've had a lot of dealings because, like I said, with this map here, see, a lot of it goes directly into France. So, yeah, France is dealing with it, and that's why you'll see a couple of these on it. And notice 3 years ago, 4 years ago, this has been going on for a while. Nothing new in it. And I just wanted to point this out to you, that this is kind of huge. In fact, most of this one's from 5 years ago. Many of them are acknowledging that it's the ISIS drug and Syrian fighters using Captagon to fight like super soldiers. This is what they're talking about. And some of these hauls that they've gotten, huge. I mean, just major amounts of these drugs that have been seized. Can you imagine how much they're not catching? It's very lucrative. That makes me wonder why Nancy Pelosi takes off and all of a sudden, just out of the blue, goes to Afghanistan and wants to work with people there. I don't know why all of a sudden, because see, this is dated October 22nd. They just up and took a trip. But then the Democrats like to do that. It was an unannounced visit to Afghanistan on Sunday. Her office said Pelosi, who traveled to Afghanistan after a stop in Jordan on Saturday. Jordan. Yeah, that's one of the big trafficking sites too. So, yeah, it's in that red area there as well. So, yeah, see Jordan right here. That's part of it. It's one of the stopovers. So it would be someplace that they'd be sending it out to, and then they would traffic from there. And so, yeah, that's where she stopped. And also, it's very interesting that she was there pretty simultaneously with U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper. I just think that's kind of weird. She did meet with the President Ashraf Ghani and with Esper, but you got to wonder what these people were doing. Now, it does say bipartisan delegation, but that could mean it has like one Republican in it. And that could be a never-Trumper or whoever, because that's what they like to do. They say it's bipartisan if it only has one person that's not a Democrat. But anyway, so this is the story. I'll leave this down below. All the links will be down below just like usual. But I wanted to show you down here. This is what she says that their purpose was. Our delegation emphasized the central importance of combating the corruption which endangers security and undermines the Afghan people's ability to achieve a stable and prosperous future. We underscored that the women of Afghanistan must be at the table for reconciliation talks. Now, do you really think that she spent all that money of ours, out of our pockets, to go to this area, to Afghanistan, to say those things? Do you really think that? No, I think there's a lot more to it. I think that, first of all, I think she's likely undermining what Trump's trying to do. And then secondly, I really do think that there's probably a lot of truth in this, that there is a bit of anger over the whole trafficking situation, and they're going to have to do something about it because it's taking the money out of their pockets. You know, the deep state's not happy, that's for sure. I just wanted to point this out to you. I'll leave all the links down below so you can read them on your own. And then, again, I'll leave the link to this where you can just go through some of them. Probably if you go in and search for Captagon, you may get different results just because I tend to watch France 24 once in a while. The English version. Sometimes I watch the French version. Anyway, so like I said, you may get slightly different results than I get, but this is just something that I think is important and we need to be aware of. And frankly, I'd never heard of the drug before. But then again, I'm not real knowledgeable on drugs. So unless it comes from my doctor, I'm not taking it. So anyway, but this is a great article. Read through it, and I'll leave the links down below so you can read through all of them. But that's what I've got for you on this one. Tell me what you think down below. Do you think this is legitimate? Do you think this is why Trump has been targeting that region of the world? Is he really cutting off their supply chain? Very interesting. That's what I've got for you on this one. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.